What is up, gamers? The Red Dragon, and we are taking a look at some Karg Island Rush Battlefield 3. So, leading up to the release of Battlefield 3, everybody was completely blown away by the graphics, and on the PC, they are stunning. There's just no other word for it. So they have really pushed the limit. They've set the bar, and when you look back, I think this year was a game changer as far as graphics are concerned. I mean, you had some really big games that came out who had just stunning graphics, and Battlefield was definitely one of them. Skyrim, Uncharted. I mean, I don't want to get into a list because somebody won't make it who should make it. So graphics are obviously getting a whole lot better. And when you look at where we're going as far as graphics, and I'm talking just around the corner, when you look at the Unreal engines and the tech demos that they're running, you look at the Frostbite 2 engine and what it's capable of, and the Crytek engine, these are starting to produce stunning graphics and physics. And I mean, it's getting to the point where you see the pores in the skin, and you know, eventually it may not be with the very next Xbox or the PlayStation or the Wii U. We may not be there at that point yet, but eventually it's going to get to the point where you're not going to be able to distinguish what's computer generated and what's not. And then when you're at that point and you're looking at the game trying to decide, you know, if that's real or not, then you think about throwing in something like a Kinect scan. Well, what if the next future of Kinect is able to scan you and be even more accurate? And so instead of customizing your character in game, you're actually scanning yourself, and whenever you look at my character, you're actually seeing me in game. How crazy would that be? And I think that also is definitely coming. And you know, they've already kind of touched on that a little bit. There's already some games out there where you can at least take a photo of your face and then place yourself in the game. But you know, I see it being taken even further in the future. So you've got these graphics. People, they argue and they fight over frames per seconds here, or how many lines of pixels are there on this particular game, or whatever. And when you look at it in the whole broad scope of things, it's really irrelevant, and it's really silly and petty bickering. And it just doesn't make sense to be arguing about that, because when you look back at this day and time, 10 years from now, you're going to think of it just like we think of looking at graphics from the early consoles when they first came out, Atari and things like that. And you're like, wow, we have come a really long ways. PC gamers, there's always that debate, PC or console. PC gamers definitely have the upper hand as far as newest technology, and even they are having a hard time keeping up with hardware in their computers that can perform with the latest abilities that the games are being able to accomplish. So I mean, technology is growing rapidly, and graphics are getting better each and every year. And when you look at how far we've come in the last, like, even 20 years, and you look at where we'll be in the next 10 or 20 years, and it's going to be a very exciting time in gaming. And quite frankly, it'll be scary for a lot of people. But you look at the technology that went into LA Noire, and I saw the other day where there was a news article where another game is coming out that says it will rival LA Noire, and they believe it'll actually look better than that. So, I mean, this stuff is just, once somebody sets the bar, somebody else is going to set it even higher. And that's what we've seen with Battlefield 3. Now, I have been a little critical of Battlefield in the past as far as the consoles go, because I suggested that I would prefer to have toned down graphics and more players, because I still do. I think gameplay is more important. But I can also see it from a developer standpoint, where, you know, these guys are dreamers. They're builders. I mean, they build fantasy worlds for a living, so they have, you know, this grand imagination, I'm sure, which I can definitely appreciate. and they want to be able to do things that haven't been done before, and they want to go in different directions. And so you've got this tug of war between the gamers who play these series, and they get hooked on a game and they love that game, and they just want to play and have fun. And then you've got these dreamers who want to go and take it further, and they want to go beyond what there is. So there's definitely that tug of war, and you're always going to be drug along with the developers, because they're in charge. They get to make the decisions. And on one hand, while we are in the here and now, and while I think Battlefield would be a better game if it had more players in it on consoles anyway, at the same time, I give them kudos, because they are setting a bar that now somebody else has to beat, and they are leaping forward. And so while it doesn't serve my purpose for the here and now, I understand that it's going to serve my purpose long term, honestly. And these companies that are developing these engines and these environments for us that are becoming so realistic, I mean, that is definitely for our benefit in the long term. And this is another subject that I plan on going over probably in my next video, is the subject of these worlds being our creation. So eventually, I think we're going to see a point where developers are building the tools for us to create the world, but we, as gamers, actually have the ability to create the worlds that we're playing in. And we're already seeing pieces of that, but that's a totally different subject. So I don't want to get off of that. I want to stick with graphics. So getting back to graphics, you know, Sony, they are really interested in 3D, apparently. And that's interesting. Nintendo also dealt with it. I think the wave of 3D, it can be the future if you can figure out how to do it on a grand scale like Nintendo, where you don't have to wear glasses. And I think that's going to be key, because a lot of people just don't want to wear glasses whenever they want to watch TV. And I already wear glasses. I sure don't want to wear two glasses to watch TV. So that's one area. You've also got Sony developing a 3D headset. That's a little bit better, because that really immerses you in the world. When you take away the visuals of the wall and your mom's picture and vase beside the TV stand or whatever, when you take that away and you become in that world where you only see that world and it's right there in your face, I think that's definitely a leap forward. So I would say that, or being able to purchase your own little future little dome or something that that projects a screen all around you. I think that's where we're going. I think the point of the game already has so many people drawn in, because it does place you into this virtual world and environment. And so the key is to take that even further. And as long as there's money to be made, entrepreneurs are going to go out there and try to develop a world that has you so grasped that you don't want to leave and you want to stay in that world, because as long as you're staying in that world, that's money for them. I think they're going to do everything they can to make that picture jump off screen at you. And whether it's 3D or whether it's immersing you with the visuals, somehow graphics are going to start looking more realistic, and we are going to be in the world. And so I think it's an exciting time, definitely. There's also a lot of stuff to probably be scared of at the same time, but you look forward to a future of a Battlefield, 5, 6, 7, whatever, and if we're playing in game, you may actually see me in game, and it may be so realistic it's hard to distinguish. And then at that point, does it not become fun anymore? Because don't we play games to get away from the real world? I think it's going to be definitely fun and entertaining to watch, and some of this stuff I really don't think is that far around the corner. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Post below. When do you think we will realistically see graphics that are really so good that it's hard to distinguish between reality and what's computer generated? Already I've seen some screenshots of Forza and a real car, and hell, even right now sometimes it's hard for me to distinguish what's real and what's not, looking at a couple of screenshots. So already technology is there, and it's only going to get better. Well, if you thought this was interesting, leave your thoughts below, and I would appreciate hearing your feedback. Look forward to talking to you again real soon. Thanks for watching.